Hi guys, my name's G and welcome to the second episode of Company G. I hope you enjoyed the first episode, which is a vlog of me introducing my workplace. And if you haven't watched it yet, please go check it out. I'll put the link in the description and also somewhere here, and you can click and you can go watch it. Okay, let's get to the point. Today we'll be talking about personality type, specifically about INFP. I think that the personality trend quiz has been going on for quite some times now, for a few months, and there's so many types of them. There's MBTI, there's Enneagram, and there's this recent one which is a color personality type, which I think it's really interesting. But all in all, today we'll be talking only about the INFP personality type. If you're wondering why INFP, well, we've talked about MBTI before on Company D podcast, on INFJ and ENFP if I'm not wrong. And I'm sure that all of you would like to know more about the other personality types too, right? So if you didn't know, I am an INFP myself, and I just wanted to know more about my own personality type. I really want to learn more about how it shaped me and if it's true or not. Simple as that. So now that we got the introduction out of the way, let's start with understanding more of what an INFP stands for. INFP is a 4-letter abbreviation from the Myers-Briggs Type Indicator personality type. The I stands for introversion, N stands for intuition, F stands for feeling, and P stands for perception. This personality type is often described as an idealist or a mediator. An idealist meaning the person is more guided by ideals rather than practically doing something, or you're more of a thinker than a doer. And a mediator is a person who attempts to make people involved in a conflict come to an agreement. So you're like the middleman. And the first key characteristics of an INFP is that they tend to be introverted. Well, the obvious, they are quiet and reserved. I think what this means is that in a social situation, INFPs usually lose their energy faster than the other types. It drains their energy, and they only prefer to interact with a selected group of close friends. This simply means that they gain energy by spending time alone too. So, as an INFP, I feel like this is so me. I have very few friends that I trust, that I always hang out with, and I don't really like to be in the crowd. I kind of like to be peaceful, calm, and social events just aren't my type. Moving on to the second key characteristics. INFPs typically rely on intuitions and are more focused on the bigger picture rather than the nitty-gritty details. And sometimes they can be quite meticulous about things that they really care about. But yeah, they tend to ignore the mundane, normal, boring details. And I think this is not a good or a bad thing. I mean, if they always look at the bigger picture, that's a good thing because they have a really focused goal. But they always miss the small mistakes that might be sometimes hurtful if they're doing a project. I think the idea behind this is that they thought of something as a product. If the product is finished, they believe that everything is done and there's not much to be fixed anymore. The third characteristic of an INFP is that they place an emphasis on personal feelings, and their decisions are more influenced by these concerns rather than by objective information. When it comes to making decisions, INFPs like to keep their options open. They like to be free, they need choices in life. It's not that they're indecisive, I think they just wanted the best choice for themselves. This means that they often delay when they have to make important decisions. They need more time to think about what if the situation changed. People want choices all the time, and most of their decisions are usually based on personal values rather than logic. I think that's a really good point of an INFP because they're more human in their decision making. They think about others' feelings more than this is right, this is wrong, using logic. Okay, so until now, I think you've already got the basics, characteristics of an INFP. But you might be wondering what secrets you need to know if you want to learn about them more. So for the first one, INFPs are both curious and shy. INFPs have the cognitive function of an extroverted intuition, well, that makes them open to exploring new ideas and new possibilities, and they're very curious when it comes to learning about the world, including learning about human nature, about different cultures around the world, and this might make them want to travel around the world and learn about every culture possible, I think. However, at the same time, they can be quite shy and hesitant to opening up to others. They don't feel that comfortable to open up to making new friends or like talking about deep conversations with people who they're not that close with. This is mainly because the INFPs need time to reflect and they do not like to engage in shallow conversations. Whoever they make connections with, they want to learn more about them. They want to talk about like deep conversation and deep topics to get to really know the person and make true connections. They take their encounters quite personal and they are very highly sensitive, so they might be kind of wary about letting anyone into their lives. Okay, secret number 2. An INFP needs to feel inspired when doing something. They need certain level of emotional intensity in order to feel like they're truly living. So an INFP might unconsciously seek out relationships that evoke strong feelings, or they might find like books, poetry, music, or traveling, or charity work that inspires them. However, if the passion or the intriguing factor of an INFP fades, they might find themselves restless and they might just stop what they're doing because they don't have the passion to do it. It might make them feel dissatisfied and they might move on to another relationship or project that once again make them feel like they're alive. I have to say that I relate to this the most because sometimes when I work on a new project, I get bored very easily. You know, the first 2 days I will work nonstop for it, but like after a week or so, I just don't have the passion to do it, and when I don't have the passion, I will just procrastinate until the deadline and just rush through it an hour or two before. Secret number 3. INFPs secretly feel like they don't fit in. Well, most of the time. They often feel like they're like the black sheep of the group, and sometimes they just withdraw from the conversation because they don't know if they can relate to the people, they don't know if they can impress them. But the ironic part is that INFPs are also people pleasers. They want people to feel happy with them, they want to satisfy them, but at the same time they feel like they cannot fulfill the others. Secret number 4. Emotions can confuse the INFPs sometimes. Well, as I already said, INFPs they have the cognitive function of an introverted feeling, so they are an emotional based being. They base everything on their emotions, decision making, whatever it is, you name it, they base it on emotions. And just because the INFPs knows about their emotion, it doesn't mean that they always know how they're feeling. Sometimes emotion can be quite tricky, and when something bad happens, they don't know how to feel. I once had a really tragic situation happen in my life, and I didn't really know how I was feeling. When people ask me, how are you feeling? How do you feel about this? I don't know how to answer because there's so much emotions that I don't know how to express it out. And my mind just becomes blank when I'm asked that question. And the funny part is that I didn't realize until I got older that I was actually grieving at that time, because there were so many emotions going on and I don't know how I should feel. And yeah, INFP's emotions can be quite tricky, even though we're like empathetic to others, we understand others' feelings. Sometimes it's hard for us to understand our own feeling. Secret number 5. INFP's outside appearance can be misleading. Well, you know what they say, looks can be deceiving. INFPs are frequently described as reserved, serene, easygoing, but deep down inside, they're actually extremely passionate, they are intense, and they're often a perfectionist. I think that what this means is that we all have a dark side. A lot of people think that the INFPs are bundles of sweetness and light and cotton candy, but that's not always true. Like other human beings, INFPs can be caring at times, but they can also be harsh and blunt when they meet people who don't share the same values. They can be the nicest and the most tender friend or person you know, or they can sometimes be judgmental and downright cruel. And that's because they just have bad days too. But at the end of the day, when an INFP said something really mean, when they're cruel to others, you can bet that they feel guilty about it later. And yeah, that was it, guys. I hope that this video kind of helped you understand more about the INFP's personality type. If you are an INFP, please comment down in the comment section below whether you think this is true, whether you don't think it's true at all, or you can just comment anything. You can comment your other personality traits that you have as an INFP, or if you're not an INFP, you can just comment down what your personality type is, or if you have a friend who's an INFP, you can just comment stories about them, and I'll keep reading the comment. That's it for today. Thank you for watching my video. If you like these kind of content, please like and share the video, and you can also subscribe to our podcast channel so you don't miss out any new content. See you again very, very soon. Hi guys, my name's G and